So thank you for all coming on today so far. I believe we're getting more people coming in. We've got some people in the chat already, some regulars. Carol and Yvette are saying hello, and hello, lovely humans. I'm so glad that you can be here with us today. Adam will be joining us, I think, basically on the hour because he is finishing up another call and will be ready to share this content with us. But I wanted to share a little bit before we get started, kind of why I decided to create this specific webinar and partner with White Label Comedy, because I came across their brand through, actually, it was a Facebook ad about a year ago, I think it was. And it was, it just stood out in my feed because it was something that I thought was, I can't even remember exactly what it was now, but it stood out in my mind and it made me laugh. And straight away from seeing their ad, I'd never heard their brand before. I went through and read their sales page and it made me laugh. It made me feel good. And it made me think, I want to do that with my brand. Like, I want to be able to make people feel good. I want people to make people to laugh. And I want ultimately people to want the stuff that I create because I make them laugh. Like, I think it's such a great way to do it. And so, I became a customer straight away and and I have so much respect for the way they put together their content. And that is why I'd been following them for about a year or so before actually reaching out to do this session. But that's why I was pretty excited that Adam was on to join us for this, but he's not actually on just yet. So I am going to just here we are. Okay, so hopefully he does join us soon. I'm just going to send an email to make sure that he is coming, because I know he is in the UK and I'm worried. Oh, he's here. Right, we got it. Oh, he's here. Oh, wonderful. Okay, I've got to find you and put you in. Sorry. All right, let's get you. Just a second. Found you. Promote to panelist. Wonderful. Okay. All right. Thank you, Adam. Can you hear me okay?
I can indeed. Yeah, I had a real panic there. I was like, you were busy telling everyone I wasn't here. I was like, I'm here. How many ways can I?
You're here. I'm trying to put your hands up, but there's no video. Yeah. I'm sorry. That was my fault. I was watching I was going to send you an email. I'm like, are you here? But you are.
You know what? I was 30 seconds late. You know, I was late, and that I can only apologize. But thanks for hanging around for me.
Well, I wasn't actually looking at the participant list anyway. I just was expecting it to come up in the panelist section. So I was off on my own. But I'm glad you're here anyway. Like I said, I am really excited about this session because I have been part of your email list for over a year now. And I regularly get a chuckle out of your emails. And basically the reason I wanted to do this session is because I want first of all, my audience, but also my audience's audience to feel the way that you make me feel in terms of just getting a little laugh out and wanting to be part of that. I just think that's such a nice way to do it. But would you like to do a bit of an introduction about yourself?
Yeah, of course. So look, you know, we've got a bit of a session with some slides in a bit, and you'll hear more on me in that. But so I'm Adam Hunt. I am the creative director of a company called White Label Comedy. We are, as I understand it, the only creative agency powered by TV's best comedy writers. Maybe there's an agency that's powered by TV's worst, but you know they're not doing as well. I used to be a TV producer, and essentially one existential crisis after another led me to try and build a world that was slightly more fun than making the shows I was making, and I did it with the help of the comedy writers that I used to work with, and we are piece by piece building out the kind of unified theory on how on earth you combine marketing and comedy to work, and it seems to be working. It's, you know, it's a ton of fun, and it's untrodden ground, which is also really cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, I hadn't heard of anything else like this before out there. And then like, I just think it's something really unique, but something that's so clever, like just, yeah, having that comedic, I don't know, relief and inserting it into the brand messaging, and then just, doing actually funny stuff. Because I think that's another thing that a lot of us are scared about doing, is like making bad jokes and then being like shunned for bad jokes. But like actually having funny jokes that work is, hard but good, I think. Yeah.
But you know what I think, and that's something we'll go into a little bit today, because actually the reason brands can sometimes share poorly chosen jokes, should we say, is because they don't know where to find the source material for good jokes, or, you know, brand safe jokes and brand relevant jokes. And actually, you know, all of our entire process is built around finding those ingredients, because those ingredients matter more than the joke. You know, actually, you know, and as marketers, we all know the thing that you know, somewhat I'm going to tell you today, you'll be like, oh, wow, you mean I can write jokes with the building blocks that I've already got on my desk? Yeah, you definitely can. So yeah, it's easier than you think, so long as you don't just start by trying to be funny.
Yeah, I think that's probably the key there. It's like trying to be funny. Is the well, I'm really excited to kind of find out your process for this, because I personally find it daunting, and like how to be funny without trying to be funny, like just get that natural stuff happening. So I think that's why, yeah, what you're going to share today is going to be so helpful in getting putting all the pieces together for that side of things. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. Do you want to get straight into sharing what you have today, or
yeah,
and then
why
we can
not?
do some Q&A at the end?
Let's do it. Yeah, there'll be definitely time for some Q&A at the end. Right, let me just work out how to make my screen work, so I'm not revealing, you know, the inner workings of my inbox, but I'm just sharing the slides with you. 1 second.
I know the feeling.
Right, here we go.
Wonderful, thank you.
Cool. So here's a lovely logo. That's always a good place to begin. By the way, do I sound okay? Do you need to bring the microphone closer, further away? What's the sound like?
It sounds great. I can hear you wonderfully.
That's all we need. All right, good.
Anyone else can, yep.
So hang on. Any second now, and I'll make it all work. All right, sweet. So, right, before I actually like dive in completely, a couple of notices, should we say? First things first, recording.
I'm really sorry, I forgot to record, but we've got the YouTube version, so I'll get that one for the first and smash them together later.
All good. All
sorry.
Good. No problem. So, just first things first, before we dive in, one, we're going to be talking a lot about social media today, but actually, if you're clever, everything we talk about applies to every single layer of your marketing stack. So just keep that in mind. Two, this session was first written, it's only a couple of weeks old. You're literally the first people seeing it live, maybe the second, but it was originally written as a kind of me in front of a green screen, you know, YouTube educational video. The reason I'm telling you that is because in some places there are some jokes, and those jokes may fall flat if I don't get them spot on. Just if at any point you don't laugh at a thing that I look like I'm trying to make you laugh with, just think, oh yeah, if that was like cut YouTube style, it'd be hilarious. So just give me a little bit of freedom to be unfunny. But anyway, without further ado, I'm going to start talking from the words I prepared. So look, guys, I'm Adam. I'm from White Label Comedy. And if you're fed up with posting content that triggers crickets and not conversions, then you're going to be glad you joined us for this training, webinar, session, whatever you want to call it. It's not 10 ways to monetize your cricket and grasshopper infestation, as good as that would be. Instead, we are going to show you the 3 easy to fix mistakes 99% of brands are making right now when it comes to creating social media content that they hope will supercharge their business growth. And we're going to work out how we fix them with relatable comedy content. Now, you know, these unintentional mistakes are costing all of us time, energy, and sometimes money every single day. But it's really easy to fix the issues. And once you understand the right way to craft irresistible, you know, high converting comedy content, then you've got the makings of what your audience is going to go crazy for. And, that's working out how to speak to our audience in a way that gives them content they genuinely want to consume. That's a big challenge for all of us, because deep down, sometimes we just want to sell, but it's not always the right way. And if you're sitting there thinking, look, I'm not funny, I can't write jokes, I'm going to show you how wrong you are. Because once you truly understand your audience, anyone, and I mean literally anyone, even my Uncle Jim, and he's very unfunny, anyone can write jokes that entertain, engage, and sell. So before we get started, let's just think about what you're going to get out of this training, aside from another excuse to stop clearing out your inbox. And you are welcome for that. That's one of those little asides that would probably be funnier if I was editing this tightly. So if you're already posting value-driven content on social, but you're not getting anything in return, then I'm going to make sure you know how to never post tumbleweed content again, and how you can transform your socials into an unstoppable engagement machine. Bold promise, I know, but honestly, more likes, comments, shares, and sales from your social posts. The methods that I'm going to share with you, they can, when used right, trigger awesome levels of engagement in any niche, even for businesses serving deathly serious or highly technical markets. And I know a lot of you thinking, we're in the herbal space. We have to be serious, and we have to be worthy, and that's all still true, and you can be funny without undermining any of that. And obviously, if you're not posting value-driven content, then you're also in the right place, because I'm going to show you how to sell more while selling less on social, which is the role of social. So that sounds good. Let's dive straight in. I should have pressed those buttons earlier. You would have seen way more on the screen as I stepped through that, but that's okay. Right, in case we haven't met, we have, but in case we haven't, I'm Adam Hunt, ex-TV producer turned creative director of White Label Comedy, the world's only social media and marketing agency powered by TV's best comedy writers. So my agency has crafted thousands of social posts that let big name brands, small businesses, startups, entrepreneurs all grab attention from their perfect prospects, ramp up the right kind of engagement, and sell. It's a simple process. We've also, and we can talk a bit more about this later, but we've distilled that expertise into Brands Against Mundanity, which is part game, part templates, part training, basically fill in the blank prompts that can be used to write funny social posts that drive results in literally any niche. We've just launched a monthly subscription version as well that's really it's kind of giving you monthly access to kind of seasonal prompts, which is going down really well. I'm sure I'll find an excuse to mention those again later, but they're all available from whitelabelcomedy.com/herbal with a sweet discount to say thanks for hanging out with us and listening to me babble on today. So thank you. But that's not what it's all about. It's all about the stuff we're going to learn. So White Label Comedy, we are the online secret weapon for brands selling everything to everybody, including health supplements, data analysis, secret weapons, dog toys, pies, baby clothes, digital file storage, self-publishing courses, and porn. I know. That word makes me uncomfortable too. We all know someone whose life has been tragically affected by self-published authors. That's one of those jokes, you see. Let's take a look at what happens when a typical new client jumps on a call with us. So we're going to skip the bit where they can't find the Zoom link, and then they do, but then they come back to turn their microphone on. And by them, I obviously mean me. More often than not, they are trapped in a losing battle with issues like these that you can probably recognize. I know that I do. They're fighting to the death for customers' attention. When your opponents have pockets deeper than the Mariana Trench, how do you compete? They can afford to be bigger, louder, shinier in the newsfeed. It's exhausting. Or they're wasting hour after hour, week after week, creating tumbleweed social posts while their ROI flatlines and their social profiles are on life support. Or they're ready to throw in the towel on content marketing altogether and resign themselves to paying through the nose for advertising on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I mean, why not just put an ad in the yellow pages while you're at it? Come on, let's get with the future. The reality is, paid advertising is essential if you want to scale your business. And I'm not here to tell you that the right joke will just go viral and you'll make millions. It's not about that. But if you don't nail your organic content first, then you're literally turning your back on a huge opportunity to engage with your audience. Is, done right, you can trigger a flood of revenue that flows in your direction, and you can do it without turning off your audience. And it's really magical when you get it right. Every post you share has the power to turn into not just likes and shares, but money in your pocket. Also, crucially, almost more importantly, you're creating an army of super fans who can't wait to buy from you. And, you know, they love to promote your products and services for you for free. You know, just think of, you know, Yolanda excited to get me on here and, you know, talking me up like I'm way cooler than I am, because our content has connected and as, you know, is showing you that we're that we're good people and worth interacting with. Plus, you get to make every minute count. And that, you know, this is big for me. Like, we're business owners and we're busy. The clue is in the name. And you don't want to slave away week in, week out, just working on stuff that does nothing for your bottom line. So it helps us all if we can transform our content from random marketing spaghetti to strategic sales focused fodder, and make sure that, you know, every minute we invest actually contributes, locks in more engagement, more leads, more sales. Simple stuff. So that's why we at White Label Comedy, we always dig deep to understand our clients' businesses, their goals, how their social content fits into their overall marketing strategy. It's not just about social, it's about, all right, this is social, this is my objective, and then what happens next, so that we can craft power-packed content that's actually going to drive results. And right off the bat, we almost always find that our clients are making at least one, if not all, of these three unintentional mistakes that we're going to talk about today. They're the same mistakes that, honestly, 99% of brands are also making. You know, it's not, you know, it's not like the idiots do this. It's we all do this. Even we do this when we sort of take our eye off the ball. Now, the fact is, when our clients come to us, they are often focusing on the wrong things, the wrong problems. What hashtag should I use? How do I create nicer looking graphics? What's a TikTok and how can we use it to snap our chats? Is word art tacky or just ironically cool? Should I use images, videos, or live streams? Also, what's a live stream? Spoiler. All of these things matter. Of course they do, but they're not nearly as important as the three issues we're going to be talking about today. And once we fix these very real problems for our clients, that is when they feel like they've hit the content marketing jackpot. We are talking eye-popping organic reach, soaring levels of engagement, record-breaking sales, and historic profit. That's what we're here for, right? So what is mistake number one that leaves most businesses unable to get themselves any likes and shares, let alone sales? It's selling too soon. I get it, right? It's natural to want your social content to have an almost immediate and measurable ROI on your time and energy. It's why so many businesses create content designed to sell. Buy this, click that, put the money in the bag and get on the floor, or even the dreaded get my lead magnet here, otherwise known as let me shout my sales message at you over email as well as on social media. Can you blame customers for choosing to tune us out? It's no surprise that content marketing starts to feel like a game that we as business owners rarely win. Don't get me wrong, like selling is an essential part of social media marketing. Like if you don't convert your followers into buyers, then you could be wasting hours each week on a vanity mission, a little bit like the self-published authors we mentioned earlier. But although if anyone's got a book out, let's pretend I didn't say that. Worse yet, you risk steering your business headfirst into the no-sell friend zone. So I want you to know this, like you need to sell. You absolutely must sell, but you can only sell after you've built a highly engaged social following. Why? Because that is how you forge the rock solid, no like and trust factor that your prospects need before they'll smash your buy button. What happens if you don't have that army of raving fans who already know, like, and trust you? Well, then you need to let the middle of your sales funnel do the heavy lifting and focus on using your socials to fill up that pipeline until it's overflowing with ready to buy leads. Now, I'd say at least half of you already know this. This is not news. But the question is, how do you do that? And you do that with hand raiser posts. So these are posts that give your ideal customers an opportunity to share and declare their ideal selves with their own friends, family, and connections. Now, I'll explain what it means in a minute, but first, let's just look at some examples of hand raiser posts to give you some context. Here are 3 jokes written for a CBD client of ours, or at least there will be when I've had a sip of my water and let my voice calm down for a sec. All right. I didn't choose to have anxiety. I'm way too indecisive for that. Things I give my smart friend every day, things I never ever give myself because I haven't earned them, time to recharge. And my anxiety, you're not very good at this. My perfectionism, I think you mean your. Now, do you notice anything? First off, aesthetically, you'll notice that the text is large. Now, this is no accident. Like, this large font was chosen because it triggers an almost involuntary reading response. It means when you share a post like this, your customer is practically powerless to ignore your message. That's because our brains begin decoding big, bold text like this, on autopilot, way before we've made a conscious decision to stop scrolling and pay attention. It's astonishing. Like, it's, let's think about that for a second. A small change to your font size could make all the difference between content that falls flat on its face and content that your audience can't help but engage with. Next up, you'll hopefully notice something about the jokes themselves. It's that they express an unspoken truth, but not just any unspoken truth. It has to be a truth that your audience agrees with. My anxiety makes me indecisive. Fact. I let my phone recharge more often than I let myself. Fact. I'll take any opportunity to criticize myself. Fact. 100%. The cool thing is, when you post content like this, you're not just tickling your prospects' funny bones. You're doing way more than that. You're giving them needle in a haystack words to express who they really are. In other words, you're handing them a really cool way to say, this is so me, this is so true, these are my beliefs. And if you want to know what price your prospects will pay to borrow your oh so relatable truths for their own social purposes, they'll pay you in unbreakable brand loyalty and more sales than you can shake a stick at. Maybe that's hyperbole, who knows? Plus, you'll also start to see these added wins stacking up in your socials. So firstly, once prospects have engaged with one of your posts, you'll keep popping up in their newsfeed until your brand is etched in their memory forever. And when you create content that people want to share, it's natural that some of it's going to start to go viral, and that, or, at least low key viral, or, niche specific viral, which means that your reach has the potential to explode, even if you're not spending a penny on ads. This is what we call the share and declare effect, and it's huge. So it's how you ethically game the social media algorithm so your posts get seen by people outside your network who might also appreciate your content, even if they don't yet follow your page. In other words, you get an all-access pass to the news feeds of people just like your existing followers. Now, you might be wondering what we call these hand raiser posts, and it's super simple. It's because everyone who engages with your posts is giving you a crystal clear signal that they share your worldview. They're literally raising their hand and they're saying, yeah, I've got that problem, that aspiration, that belief, like that is so me. And, not only will your hand raiser posts give you that business boosting double punch of sky high organic reach because you're ethically gaming the algorithm, and hand raisers who you can rely on with almost mathematical certainty to become customers, you can also cheaply retarget these exact people with paid ads to sell your low ticket items, give away your lead magnets, or drive traffic to your pre-sale pages, already certain your offer is going to resonate. It's huge. So that's mistake number one. But what if you're not selling too soon and still your posts are falling too flat? Well, in which case you might well be making mistake two, forgetting to meet in the middle. So as you now know, it's essential to give your social audience content that represents them. And it's crucial that your social posts let your ideal prospects share and declare their own values. But that's not enough, because even if your content resonates with your audience at a cellular level, and even if you pull out more hand raisers than you could serve in 100 lifetimes, you are still missing a critical piece of the social media marketing puzzle. Now, here's the frustrating thing for most business owners when they post content that goes viral, right? It's that even after engaging with your irresistibly shareable content, most prospects have forgotten who you are in a matter of seconds. I go as far as to say these content sharers never even checked to see who the author of that epic post was. So they've got no idea who you are despite engaging with your content. Take a look at this Venn diagram, right? If there's one thing I want you to remember from this session, it's this image. I want this highly scientific and definitely not drawn by a toddler visual representation of social media marketing to be etched inside your mind forever. On the left, you'll see the kind of content we've just been talking about. That's hand raiser posts, which represent your audience and trigger the share and declare effect. This kind of content is awesome, but on its own, it will do nothing for your bottom line, because you also need content that satisfies the goal on the right. And that is content which expresses your brand meaning, brand values, identity, and core values. Where these two types of content overlap, that's the sweet spot for your content. And when you zero in on this blissful intersection between audience resonance and clear brand positioning, not only do you realize how awkwardly erotic blissful intersection can sound, but also that's when you create content that compels your audience to share and declare themselves through your posts and elevates your brand and your brand values as part of the deal. Now, a couple of my favorite examples here written for a confidence confidence coach client of ours. So, first one, feeling inspired today, remembering some of the amazing men I've worked with and the incredible ideas they've repeated back to me. And after a lot of careful consideration, I've come to the conclusion that I'm not, in fact, an overthinker. Now, both of these, not only are they giving her ideal customer something they can use to share and declare their true selves, their commiseratory selves, they are also carrying her brand message along with it, because the implication is I'm someone that can help you with this. And that's key. That's crucial. So get it right and you'll have content that mobilizes your audience because it's entertaining, it represents them, and it expresses their unspoken fears, pains, and desires. And the best part is because these fears, pains, and desires happen to be the exact problems you solve through your product or service, your content becomes a subtle pre-frame for your offers. So there's no need to use that, used car dealer sales spiel anymore. You make sales on social without decimating your engagement, your viral potential, or your self-respect. More importantly, when you tap into this potent audience brand mega blend, you'll have a social secret weapon that moves your audience to action, because you're not just entertaining for the sake of it. You're also representing your buyers and speaking to their precise fears, pains, and desires in a way that feels lighthearted and judgment-free, and they love it. So how do you craft content that hits your brand audience sweet spot like a heat-seeking missile? Well, you could churn out a ton of content and then just use this Venn diagram as a sense check to decide which pieces are good enough to publish before putting the rest on a draft, setting fire to it, and just gently nudging out to sea. Or you could implement the strategy that we prefer to use here at White Label Comedy. This method will give you a more focused approach to creating binge-worthy content that spins off sales like crazy. And the good news is it's also the solution to mistake 3, which is making assumptions about your audience that just aren't true. So I've explained the importance of creating content around subjects that your audience cares deeply about, if you want them to engage with you. But how do you identify what your ideal clients really care about so you can avoid sharing that easy to ignore tumbleweed content that we're all occasionally ashamed of? So here's the mistake we see most brands making. It's assuming they already know their buyers inside out. The trouble is 99% of us, and we're included sometimes in that, fall flat on our face when thinking about our ideal customer. Over the years, though, we've developed a rigorously tested gold standard approach to audience research that allows us to create comedy content that we know with uncanny levels of certainty will resonate with your audience. And side note, even though it's easy to create marketing that doesn't resonate, it's impossible to create comedy that doesn't resonate because you know instantly that it's rubbish. Whereas with your marketing, it takes you a lot longer if not selling to find out. So the feedback loop for us and our method is much shorter. Aside over. Right. We call this method we call this approach, so I don't repeat my words, the Relatability Matrix method. And here's how it works. Before we unleash our crack team of comedy writers on a new client brief, our team of research boffins pull on their detective hats, they search for hidden clues through deep tone of voice research, and they look for the audience's fears, pains, and desires, terms you're all going to be more than familiar with. Under each of these categories, they're looking for statements that are guaranteed to trigger a "that's so true" or a "that's so me" response. We call these explosive statements relatable truths. And once we've identified dozens of these relatable truths, then and only then do we release our hungry comedy writers onto our clients' socials. These relatable truths are the top secret superpower behind the jokes we write. It's why research-driven statements are at the core of each and every one of our social media posts. Let's just look at how that plays out in practice with one of the jokes we looked at in the last section. So we've got here a quote that we lifted from this particular client, from an onboarding questionnaire for this client. "I'm just sick to death of being ignored in meetings and having guys repeat my ideas back to me as if that's not exactly what I just said." So we try and sum that up as succinctly but evocatively as we can. It's so frustrating having men claim my ideas as their only meetings. And then that leads us to the joke. I'll read it again. "Feeling inspired today, remembering some of the amazing men I've worked with and the incredible ideas they've repeated back to me." Now, it's a good point here to just think about what is a joke? And my writers have always hated my definition of a joke because it's pretty reductionist. It's basic bitch. So a joke to me is just two things that shouldn't fit together, but you've made them fit together with the help of a surprise twist or a little sort of change of meaning in the middle. And often that is as simple as a sentence that looks like it's going in one direction and then pivots and goes in another direction. And actually, you'll see that's all this is here. This is not a over the top labored clever joke. This is just a bit of a switcheroo, and it's super simple. So jokes are easier to write when you start with a relatable truth, because the truth is what makes them feel like jokes. I think I'm getting ahead of myself because I'm accidentally ad-libbing. That's why I write a script for myself. So look, What happens if you think you already know everything about your audience? Well, if that sounds like you, then here's a quick story, because some clients come to us after investing thousands on avatar research and shiny market insight dossiers. Trouble is, these research reports are almost always based on best guess conjecture and water cooler chats. And I don't mean to be rude, but water coolers very rarely know what they're talking about. The fact of the matter is no amount of anecdotal evidence or paid focus group discussions can beat taking your ideal customers' actual words and turning them into jokes that they feel like they wrote themselves. That's gold. And if you're thinking that's all well and good, but I'll never be able to write anything funny for my socials, then listen closely, because I'm going to tell you an insider's only secret about joke writing, that when you understand it, you'll see that joke writing is easy. Honestly, it's child's play. Literally anyone can write an absolute banger, which is a technical term for a very funny joke. So here's what you need to know. A so-so joke based tightly around a research-backed relatable truth will always be funnier to your audience than a top-flight, grade A, precision-engineered warhead of wit that centers around a subject your prospects can't relate to. Just think about political comedy and think about, when whoever you support, when they make jokes that sort of line up with the other side's worldview, you don't find them funny. It's because the truth is what matters. And even if the world's greatest professional comic wrote and delivered the unrelatable joke for you, you wouldn't find it funny. Now, here's what's really exciting. No matter what industry you're in, there is more than enough low-hanging relatable fruit for anyone to create shareable jokes that audience will love. Yeah, even a company that sells accounting software exclusively to insurance companies, even them, there is enough low-hanging relatable fruit. All you need to do is think of things that you already know will trigger your customers to say, that's so true, that's so me, yeah, I get that, that's our world. And then make these truths the focus of your social posts, with just a little sprinkling of fun and playfulness layered on top. You don't even need to write proper jokes, just be playful with the truths. When you do run out of easy to reach comedy source material, then take a step back, invest some proper time in avatar research, because that is the secret to generating a never-ending stream of ideas for engaging content. But there is so much more you can do with what's already in your head before you get to that expensive stage. So there we have it. 3 easy to fix mistakes 99% of brands are making on social media, and 3 childishly easy fixes that will send your likes, comments, shares, and sales through the roof. And let me leave you with one final thought. When I say leave you, I just mean sort of shut up for a bit and let you ask some questions. These strategies will work for your business, like no matter who you are, no matter what type of business you run. And the reason I can be so confident is because at White Label Comedy, everything I've shared, it guides all of the work we do day in, day out for all of our clients. And our clients come in every shape, size, and niche imaginable. So, I know this can work for you. Plus, the same principles can be used to craft content that will reliably entertain, engage, and sell at each and every point in your customer journey. Social posts, lead magnets, Facebook ads, sales pages, broadcast emails, whatever the medium, relatable comedy converts. That's it. I'm going to stop talking and take a sip of my water. And if anyone has any questions after my little monologue, I'm more than happy to hang out.
I have a ton of questions.
Go for it, hit me.
So if anyone else has questions as well, feel free to put them in the chat. Now is the time. But I have a couple of ideas and questions as far as like how to actually apply it and put it in. It's like, especially in terms of herbal businesses, I guess. Because I know, like, when I was actually wondering, first of all, is it okay if I share some of what's actually in the bundle that I bought?
In Brands Against Mundanity, yeah, of course. Let me unshare my screen.
Okay, cool. Because that's what I wanted to do, if it's okay with you. I wanted to like go through and make some examples. Is that kind of okay?
Of course,
I'm
yeah.
on the spot here. I didn't, but because I remember, like, I bought the Brands Against Mundanity pack. I'm not sure when it was, but it was a while ago. But I really liked the prompts, but I haven't properly put it into action for my brand yet, because I haven't gone through with my team and made it into a game. But just to give people some background as to how, like, and I'm not sure if this is how it's supposed to work, but from what I understand, there's like kind of prompts inside this pack that you're meant to be go through as a team and make it into like a bit of a game to create jokes as a part of your marketing strategy. well, we do have a question from AC, but do you want to, I'll just can, or do you want to answer that question first? So AC had a question. So how do we find out about our audience rather than making assumptions?
Yeah, I mean, you know, well, I guess two things is actually having said the biggest mistake you can make is making assumptions, then saying, hey, use the low-hanging fruit in your head. So I realize there's a bit of a disconnect there. I think, you know, there are certain things that you know about your audience, and you don't need to make assumptions. You just know because often you are your audience. But when you're doing, you know, deeper, more detailed research, it's all about finding them talking about the problem that you solve out in the wild. So, you know, my favorite resource is Reddit, because on Reddit, you can find anyone moaning about anything, and you know for a fact that it is not curated. And, you know, anyone that tries to go and own space in Reddit fails abysmally, is just booted away by the community. There's such good guardians. So it's genuinely, you know, verified customer tone of voice, ideal customer tone of voice. Surveys are also good. You need to look for their actual tone of voice. You need to, one way or another, whether you ask them to tell you or whether you are looking online, you need to find your ideal customer or your customers telling you about their problems in their own words. Because, you know, even just the sort of the subtle turn of phrase they use, if you then mirror that back at them, even without a joke, that is, you know, they feel seen, and that feels powerful. So yeah, go and seek out real testimony.
Yeah, good answer. What I wanted to yeah, I think that's a great idea to go into forums and stuff like that as well. And like, yeah, I find, yeah, Facebook groups and stuff like that can be useful to find those like customer words, like in their words, which is really useful. If it has a question as well, I'll do my little exercise at the end when there's no other questions. But if it asked, why do you find that comedy resonates more than other writing style methods? Do you have examples of working in the wellness botanical space?
So I think, well, to answer the second part of the question, you know, our CBD client is sort of the furthest we've been into wellness, really. So, you know, one thing we like to do is only have a small number of clients in any one niche. So actually, you know, we're wide open for anyone in the, you know, the wellness botanical space. So feel free to give us a call. But to answer the first part of the question, I think comedy resonates more than it doesn't resonate more than it complements. So, you know, like our team is not just comedy writers, and, you know, we don't just take, you know, we don't replace a sales page with a joke, but we write a better sales page than anyone can write, and then we make it funny, because, you know, the message comes first and then comedy kind of layers on top. And so I think it's, you know, it's comedy is the icing on the cake, but if you haven't got a good cake, then you've got you need to go back to basics. And I think obviously on social it's just a different style of post, and I think it's you're giving people content they want to consume, so they don't feel like they're being sold to. And that's why comedy content on social is, you know, it's easier to hide your sales message in a joke than it is in a, you know, 20-page white paper on why you should buy my shit.
Now, I'm seeing in the comments a couple of, yeah, and that was a really good answer, Adam. A couple of like kind of concerns around how to actually handle jokes or comedy in a respectful way, because it is like a delicate thing. And that is a fair concern. But I wanted to share some examples to show kind of how it can work. And also because I think it's a really nice way to get engagement as well. So I'm not sure for people who are trying to grow on social media, you might have seen like kind of posts that are clearly meant to promote engagement. So like questions and stuff like that get people to comment on the post. And that's really good for social media algorithms, because it means that people like your content and they're going to engage with it, and then they're going to see more of your stuff as well. So I just wanted to share my screen and just show you a little bit of something. So this is like the prompts set that I've got from White Label Comedy.
Oh, and this is Brands Against Modernity Classic. This is the very first set we made. So
I'm not sure, I have
taking me back.
Sure that, yeah, but like, so just as an example, you can say like, how many X is it acceptable for Y to buy themselves asking for a friend? And you've probably seen posts like this on social media, yeah, probably a while ago, because it was the classic. But you can imagine for herbalists, like how many plants is it acceptable for someone to buy themselves, for an herbalist to buy themselves, asking for a friend, or those sort of things. But, or it could be, yeah, books, or like that sort of question. And then you can see how you could apply this in lots of different areas. And it's just a way to create a lot of content kind of quickly, because you go through here and you can connect different prompts. So you're like, start with this prompt, write down as many as you can on this idea, and then like go with each of the different prompts. And you would end up with like a ton of social media content that's kind of fun and engageable. Oh, engageable is not a word, but like, you know, stuff that people would connect with, and then put it all. And then it's just a matter of making it look nice by, I'm not sure if there are examples of that, but like, you know, putting it on like a color or something, or an image behind or something like that, to make it look cool. And you could also turn this into other types of content as well. Things like the like, you know, the video, the reels, that sort of thing. You can still have this same sort of thread going through it as well. So it's really just ideas of how to apply it there. And so, yeah, like having different, these are just some different examples. I don't want to give away all of the stuff that's inside, but I just wanted to show kind of how it could be. Like, I could just automatically see for myself, yeah, as an herbalist, you have probably a lot of, yeah, a lot of plants. Or you could even say, like, how many unlabeled jars is it acceptable for a herbalist to have in their apothecary cabinet? Like, because I'm sure that all herbalists have way too many unlabeled jars. And so that's kind of like the relatable side, is like having unlabeled things in our cupboards, is that thing that we can relate to, and then making jokes out of that kind of thing that we have. But so it's working out what that thing that we can relate to is, and then making it funny. I'm not very good at explaining this. I'll go back to you, Adam.
Do you know what? So yeah, I think you're spot on with you know, it's funny actually. Whenever I look at that, so that first set we released that about a year ago, and since we've got the meme maker edition and the graph gags edition, which are much more visual and much more fun. But even looking at those old jokes, which are, you know, they're still part of our expansions bundle, and people still get a lot of use out of them. Like, that joke structure isn't that sophisticated, but if in that gap you can put something that your ideal customer like reflects a kind of guilty pleasure, or, you know, a sort of like a commiseratory, oh, you know, spent too much on this, or done too much of that, you know, it's the sort of thing that they want to admit that is their truth, is in a kind of like, oh, yeah. Having it in that structure, it makes it really compelling for the right audience. And it really is. You can use these prompts to write bad jokes, but if you know your audience and what they really care about and what drives them, I think that's why, you know, what I love is so many smaller businesses, the owner is their best customer. You know, the owner, you know your own customers so well. So it's, yeah, with BAM, it's super easy to fill those gaps.
Okay, and so I would like to go a little bit into more detail to like the actual relatability matrix, and like how to work out like what it is that your audience is like relates to, and like how to actually create the content around that. Like, how do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, it all starts with research. So step one, like we said, you know, in response to the other question, is you need to find your audience talking about the problem that you solve. So whatever you're selling, you know, whatever your you know, remedies do, or whatever whatever your consultations solve for people, you need to find them talking about those things, and you know, you keep in your head that, right, as they are talking about these things, there are three main categories. We actually break it down into more categories, but, you know, the fears around that subject, the pains around that subject, and their desires for the future in the context of that subject. And you just gather up that source material. So, you know, our sort of first step is we're just hoovering up statements to put into a big document, and then we go through and we try and simplify them and summarize them. So, you know, you've got a big paragraph of someone sort of moaning about, you know, being ignored in in meetings, what's the simplest way we can express what they are saying? Because that's how you sort of, the more you condense it, it's a bit like a tincture or a solution. If you condense it down, it gets stronger, and there's more of the sort of essence in there, and then you take it and you write jokes. And sadly, that bit of the process, that's why we created Brands Against Mundanity, because like I said earlier, jokes literally just being two things, and you've made them fit together, the twist in the middle. All of our formats in all of our different BAM sets are, they basically feature blanks on either side of the setup and the punchline that you can fill with, very specific guidance about what kind of relatable truth you want there, and what sort of things are going to work. And there's also an example of how it works for a brand. Obviously our comedy writers don't need that, but it's it's like child's play. You literally, like the relatability matrix, all you are doing is finding their words and distilling those words down into their essence, either ready to be used in a format or turned into jokes. But it's nothing more complicated than that. You're not extrapolating, and actually one thing we found is when our researchers do this kind of trawl, sometimes they can't find that much, or there's not as much out there as they'd like, and they start to extrapolate because they think, oh yeah, I know this audience, I would buy this, here's what I think. And it's way less powerful because you haven't taken the actual words of a customer and tried to condense it into an idea or a concept. So yeah, it's just research. There's no magic to it. It's just research and knowing what buckets to put things in, so you can then use them later.
And so would you recommend like creating some sort of buckets, or like when we're doing our research, how should we do that? Like what does that process look like?
Well, when we do it for our clients, basically the first piece of research we've done for a client is a piece of avatar research, so we know exactly who we're talking to. And then we've done a piece of content, themes and messaging work. So we also know, all right, if I'm trying to sell them this particular supplement, these are the things we can talk about. So that you kind of pick some content pillars, you pick some spaces that your brand is relevant to, and say there's a supplement that is for joint pain. One of those sort of pillars might be joint pain. One of the other pillars might be sport. So you can kind of go deep and go broad, and then just within those you have headings for fears, pains, desires. We also have buying motivations. We have limiting beliefs, objections, etc. In that grid. And you literally just go through the internet. You just look at the internet and just throw things in. It's like you're shopping for words. You just throw things in the basket. But it doesn't really matter. There's no such thing as like choosing the right headings and choosing they're just starting points. And as you're working through, you go, interesting. Like I'm finding that loads of these people who are talking about joint pain, they're obsessed with hockey and how they can't play hockey anymore. Okay, maybe that's a topic. And you go, okay, I'm gonna shrink the soccer section because no one cares about soccer apparently. I'm gonna put a hockey one in and just build it out that way. So it's just a framework to collect it all in.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And so yeah, it's just like putting it all together and connecting the dots really.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Being able to refer back to that as you create the content. Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I wanted to share another, because I now you said that about the meme thing, I thought I might share my screen with another one. So these are again, it's similar to the other thing that I showed, but this is a meme. So when someone challenges my knowledge of X. And so then and the thing that makes it kind of funny is that the image that complements it. So it's like having a cute animal wearing glasses, or a cat at a computer, if that's in your brand imaging, or it could be depending on what it is, but having something that complements the image. I think that's is that the and then so when someone challenges my knowledge of, it could be something to do with what specific thing you do with herbs, whatever your kind of true expertise is, I guess.
And one thing I love about the kind of meme maker formats is, again, you know, earlier I said, you know, a joke, two things made to fit together. Sometimes you don't need to have a conceptual gap. Sometimes it's as simple as saying, taking this picture and saying it's about this topic, even though it's not, and that becomes a joke because you've got two things and you kind of jumped a gap. So, you know, all the best memes, really, you know, all the ones you see doing the rounds that everyone shares that you would never share for your brand because you're better than that and you want to create your own original content, they are just an expressive face and a statement that either pairs with or goes against that expressive face. Is literally all it is. So, you know, and again, with this, you'll notice we're not saying, hey, here's a picture of a hamster with glasses you should use. It's the opposite. We're saying, look, you know, here's what we've done. You should find your own picture of a cute animal, or make your own, or even better, you know, most of these are human faces. Do it yourself. You know, literally just a raised eyebrow, an annoyed look, and you know, then when someone ... caption is actually all you need. And I think you know, with the right thing in the gap, they feel spoken to, and you know, it feels really targeted. It feels really innovative. And yeah, I think what I love about all of the BAM formats is you use it once and you're like, oh, cool, I see how to use these formats. And then you go back and you're like, oh, interesting. I've just seen the Matrix and I realize how these fit together. And actually, you know, after a couple of times round, you realize that you can create your own formats in your head because it is just that comparison. A joke is just a comparison. And yeah, it's again, I sort of sometimes feel silly for selling people this stuff because they realize how easy it is. You know, it teaches you just how simple it is to be funny because you're just reflecting a truth in a way that jumps a gap big enough to feel like a punchline.
Exactly. But I think it's so, like, I personally find it valuable to have these kind of prompts because it was like, you wouldn't necessarily think to add the like funny picture of the animal, but like, it is simple. For you, it's simple, but for me, it's not necessarily. Like, I don't actually think of that stuff, but I do find it cute. And I do like funny, or like I find it relatable anyway. The like going through the I'm not sure what there are different ones, but anyway, there are lots of different okay, that you can have all sorts of different things, but I think it's all the different faces, but I think it's, and so when you are choosing an image, you're saying it's kind of contradicts the statement. Is that the when you're doing like
it depends, honestly, it depends what the joke is, you know. So it might be like, sometimes, you know, someone doing the opposite of what the statement says is funny. Other times them looking just as annoyed as the statement suggests is also funny. There's no hard and fast. It is literally just that really basic explanation of, you know, two things that you've smashed together. So sometimes you smash them together by just saying, hey, this picture actually means this. And other times you smash them together by saying, hey, this picture is undermining this statement. There are a million ways to do it. And you know, the different formats play in different ways.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think you're right. Even though I know that people, you know, you can see the Matrix, you can start using them for themselves. People love having the sort of the endless, you know, having the prompt and having the inspiration and having the jumping off point, even if they go in a different direction. That's why we launched the monthly subscription, because, you know, it just means that every month, you know, you've just got new stuff in your inbox that gives you these starting points. And I think it's that was something people were clamoring for ages, that it took us a long time to do, but I'm glad we did.
Yeah, I definitely think so. That was something I'm planning on running sometime this month as well. So if people have questions, feel free to put them in the chat now. But sometime this month I was planning to run like a kind of a brainstorming session I have a membership community of that, so that we can go through the prompts together and come up with jokes that are, because of our audiences are pretty similar. So they're all like, and so like trying to work out like the actual practical side of like how to work it out is what I was planning to do. Because I think I've been meaning to do this for a long time, as far as like actually, you know, setting aside an hour just to come up with a whole heap of content, because I think once you get started, it would kind of like feed off of each other, and you would like kind of have that kind of snowball type feeling of some stuff getting started, and then creating more and more content. I think would be like that's kind of the cool thing about the product.
That sounds like a great idea. I think, you know, it's funny when we first created this, it was sort of, we didn't know whether it was a game, a tool, a template set, and it's kind of all three. And I think, you know, it is way more fun to do it with a team, you know, or do it with people who are in a similar industry and play around, because, you know, it's not about getting the right answer. It is about playing around. It's about, you know, experimenting, filling that blank with this truth or that truth and this thought or that thought, and go, oh, that's interesting. Or maybe we change the picture. Let's, you know, and when you play it like a game with other people, you can do that. And as well as bond, you know, you've got that barometer for, all right, well, I think that's funny. So do they. So does, you know, so does he. Great. And, you know, it's you get that sort of initial reassurance that, you know, you're not just being, because people are still, even when you give them sort of a route to brand safe comedy, it can still seem scary when you think you might get it wrong. But yeah, so I think, yeah, definitely play it, feel free, play it with everyone.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think so for people watching how that works, like yeah, I'll probably organize that for next week, or I'm not sure, because we're getting close to Christmas. I'll have to figure that out. But sometime in terms of, I'm going to be working out my content and you can work out your content at the same time is the idea. Like I'm going to try and work out, like, I don't know, say 3 months worth of content, and we like batch it into this section and we can do it together. But yeah, so as far as working that out for the, like, if you would like, so the Herbal Circle members, you'll get an invite to this already. But if you're not a Herbal Circle member, we'll put the link into the chat of how to get the. So as far as the, like, you have 3 offers that are the for brands against mundanity. How do you even pronounce that word?
Do you know what? It's mundanity is a made up word.
So it's okay that I don't know how to pronounce it.
The name may or may not be a play on a very well-known popular card game. So, you know, the pronunciation apes that parody. But yeah, so it's brands against mundanity.
Mundanity. Yeah. Okay. I think that joke completely went over my head. I had no idea. Well, there you go. But I still connected with the brand anyway. Okay. And so personally, I have the expansions bundle, and I think that's a nice spot to start for someone. Like, as far as the, like, would you say that's the best thing for someone to start if they wanted to see?
Would you know? So if I just share my screen again, I can just have a little look at the. So basically, these are different options. So yeah, the expansion bundle is a great place to start, because, you know, we sell you know, all of them individually for like $40 something or 27 if you get targeted by an ad, so you know, hang around waiting for them. But it's like $65 or something to get like all 4 of our core sets. And it is a great place to start, because you've got the text jokes that we were looking at in the original set, and there's an expansion of more text jokes. We've got the meme maker set, which is probably my favorite, but also graph gags as well, because like there's nothing better than just like a relatable truth turned into a graph. That, you know, we're seeing more and more, especially on, you know, I mean, in a sort of more B2B space, they're a bit more successful, but it's a whole new way of doing humor, and that's a real example of how, you know, just the truth as a graph can feel like a joke. You don't even need to write a joke. So that's you know, it's a good set. It's a good way to start. You know, you can just grab individual boxes if you want to grab them. So Brands Against Mundanity monthly is somewhere that I'd love people to go, only because it's brand new for us. The more people who we get in there each month, the more resource we can put into making brilliant templates every month for everyone to enjoy. And I think we've only got sort of a few hundred people subscribed so far, and I think it's a great place to get stuff that no one else has got access to. I think that's the key thing right now. So and that is basically 31 prompts, a mixture of the graph gags, the text formats, and meme makers every month. And we give you, so like right now, December's prompts are live. They've been live since the start of November. In a couple of days, we're going to launch January's prompts. So you've always got like a good month to use them and prepare to sort of prepare ahead. And so I think probably start with the bundle. It's great value. When you love it, then the monthly one is a place to go. Also, I won't go into details, but our training for those keen to go a little bit deeper and kind of want to fancy themselves as comedy writers without the need for a format or a prompt. That's we go into much more detail on the research methods and the way we write jokes as well in there. But yeah, all of the above. I think just have a look, whitelabelcomedy.com/herbal is a very hastily assembled page that we put together for you guys. Have a little look, and I think there's lots of fun to be had regardless. The most important thing for me is that whatever route you go, you have fun with it. I think, we're trying to make content creation fun and not this sort of, albatross, that's the wrong phrase, around your neck, that is, it's weighing you down. You feel like you have to do it all the time, but you don't enjoy it. So whatever route you go, you'll have fun. Anyway, I'll stop rampantly pitching my stuff.
No, I think it's good. I think it's like, I think a lot of people are also always, hesitant to do so, but it's important to get it out there, because again, I genuinely found it useful. And when I went through the pack, it like gave me ideas straight away. And that was why, like, my plan with this session was to do this, to like do a bit of the theory around how you do it. And then like basically anyone else who wants to kind of put this content into action as well, like they can get the pack as well, and then we can come together and have a bit of a game brainstorming session with like what my plan is. So yeah, for anyone who's in the Herbal Circle, you automatically get an invite to that if you want to take part. And then if you're not a part of the Herbal Circle, you're welcome to join. But if you if you're not, I would recommend just grabbing one of the packs or the monthly or something or other to have something to work with. And then once you get something or other, send me an email and I'll add you to the list for this class, or this, I guess it's like an implementation workshop is what I want to call it, that we'll do something like that for, and I think it'll probably be next week on Wednesday, I think. I'm basically doing this because I want to create my content, and I think that if we do it together, it'll be fun. So and then,
it sounds brilliant. You basically just gone, right, I want people to play with, so I'm gonna run a session with Adam to make sure they know that this cool thing exists, and then we can all play together. It's perfect.
Exactly. It's like, this is the game and we're going to play the game. And so then hopefully we can make some plant jokes, herb jokes all together on this call next week. And then like going forward, as we start to like publish our stuff on social media, we're probably going to recognize the jokes when we see it out there as well. So we can like, support each other and comment when we see our funny content later on as well. So that'll be all part of it. Yeah, so that's basically my plans. So I will post the links as well in the replay page for those of you who are watching the replay. But does anyone have any final questions? If you do, like, put them in the chat now. But thank you so much for what you've shared today, Adam. Like, I've definitely enjoyed it, and just really appreciate in general what you do, because I think it's a nice way to get that messaging out there to people, and in a fun and lighthearted way. I like the idea of creating lots of social media content in a fun and not kind of pressure setting. Yeah,
I think that should be our goal with every level of our marketing, is to make marketing people enjoy consuming. And I think that's something, if there's one thing to be taken away from this, is give people what they want to read even when you're selling to them, and do that, and you're onto a winner. So yeah, that's it.
Absolutely. And we do have one question. Can someone show us the graph box? And do you know, I think it was actually the graph box that I originally got. Now let me yeah, I think it was.
Do you know what I can do? I can bring up a little sneak peek of, hang on.
Because I did get all of them, so I've got it. Yeah, but if you've got a specific,
let me just see. I think I might be able to show you guys some cards as well from the. Let me just see if I've got it before.
The graphs are really cool because I'm sure you guys have seen that on social media as well, where there's like yeah, I'll see if I can find.
All right. I'll have it in 2 seconds. Honestly, just fill for me.
Okay.
Keep them busy.
I've got something I can show you if you want.
Oh, no, it's all right. We're here. We are here. This is yeah.
All right. Go.
So,
good question, Sherry.
Cool. So this is the sneakily. This is the sales page for the monthly. Just to remind you all that that's where I'd love you to go. But hidden on it, we've got examples of all the different cards. So basically, you know, the graph gags cards. There's always two different forms essentially. So you've got the kind of the template and you've got the filled in version. So yeah, you know what one of my favorites, this Venn diagram, you know, what we asked for, what we got, maybe a comma, is you know, a nice one for people hiring from Upwork. I think that's a very consistent experience when you try and hire writers from Upwork. And you know, lots of productivity stuff that appeals to business owners, you know, things I'm doing when I'm busy working. One is working, but the much bigger one is telling people how busy I am. You can just, you know, you can picture when you fill these gaps with what actually matters to your audience and their truths, you know, those, the same with the other prompts, the things that they're sort of you know, their guilty pleasures, their you know, commiseratory like admissions, the things they're willing to admit to. You really, yeah, you can see the power of them. And so there's, I think 30 of these in the graph gags one. Yeah, here are some of the meme maker cards. But yeah, and I think you wanted to see the box, and that box is, that's the box here. It's a very badly designed box, but there's the box anyway in the bottom right hand corner of the pack shot. So yeah, there we go.
Great. Yeah, I can oh. Oops.
You've suddenly gone quiet, Yolanda. Are you lost in thought?
I did. I lost the whole thing. Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still here. I'm still here.
Okay, wonderful. I went back. I was trying to find where to share my screen, but okay, that's fine. I can't see anything, but that's fine. I have no idea where it's gone. Sorry, I was going to show my favorite graph of but I can't share my screen. I don't know where it's gone. Let me see if I can do it like this. Oh, there we are. I got it. All right. So this one here, I just wanted to share this one of like how I spent my week. I think this is like one that I can see herbalists, or like I wanted to use in my content when I saw it. But this is like the first one, but like figuring out how to make this striky, or like the but so this one here is the longest one. But you could have things that you do, and so it's like you add it in. But it's so easy to put in what you want to, if that makes sense. But yeah, okay, that's what I want to share. I can see how that works for herbalists, but this is why I want to go through this with our group next week, and then we can brainstorm how to actually make it work for us and our businesses as well, which is cool. Do
you know what? Like to add an extra layer of value to that, if you guys want to then send me what you've come up with, if you then want some feedback from us and our team to go, you know, to sort of give you some extra perspective, no, you know, we could improve that this way, or you could think about this kind of angle, feel free. So if that's helpful, then we're more than happy to get our actual comedy writers to give you some feedback on them.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. Yeah, so I would say, we're going to do this. I'm fairly sure I'll do this session next week, and then we'll send what we put together your way to see how it goes. That's really
good.
Good. Thank you. Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Then I think we will wrap up today's session. But Yeah, thank you for everything you've shared, and we will be in touch as far as what we come up with next week in our implementation session. But it's been really cool to see kind of how it works and to chat with you today. We're getting some comments in the chat. Thank you. This was so awesome. I've taken a gazillion social media engagement webinars.
Oh, thank you, Emily. Do you know what? That's because I'm not making it up. I've taken those webinars too, and there's so much rehashed BS that you have to sort of jump out of the way of on the internet. So yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad that everyone is having fun. So and again, like I'm fairly sure it'll be the same time next week, but on Wednesday, not on Thursday, that we'll have an implementation session as far as and this will be like a group call where we see each other and talk and come up with we might even do breakout rooms to and then come back together. So depending on how many people are on the call, we'll see how that goes. But I'll let everyone else know about that in the via email. But thank you so much for this and giving us this base framework to work from, Adam, because I'm pretty excited about putting it into practice and just creating more social media content that's consistent, but stuff that people like.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Yes, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much again, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day. Thank you.